Hi everybody, welcome to Holistic Apothecary Live. I'm Phyllis Bucci.
And I'm Kim Henderson.
In case it's your first time tuning in, and we hope that it is. Today's January 18th, 2017. And the topic we're going to talk about today and present to you is about speaking your truth and really feeling comfortable with it. And not so much relying on other people's responses in how you feel.
Which would also be judgments.
Right? That's right, judgments. And there's a big difference between your opinion and speaking your truth. And the first time it might be a little bit tough, but I'm telling you, once you speak your truth the first time, it gets easier and easier and easier.
I think you have to speak your truth first to yourself rather than out in the world, just to hear your own voice and acknowledge what your feelings are right inside your body, because that's what's telling you.
And know that your truth comes from a very deep place in your soul, and your soul's not going to lie to you. And you know, when you hold feelings back and something's bothering you and you don't say something, who's it eating away at? It's eating away at you, not the other person, or the situation doesn't change or get any better. So by speaking your truth, you're really letting go of a lot of excess weight that you don't have to carry anymore and allow to really eat away at you. Because all it does is fester, and then you get angrier and angrier until you just blow up.
And it causes disease, right?
And it causes disease in the end. Thank you, yes.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's just really important to, when you really need to say something, be aware of your feelings, know where it's coming from, know that it's your truth, and it really will help you to live your passion more, because it almost fuels you. It fuels you in a direction where you start feeling like you're free.
Yeah.
You know, free of that. You know, the truth is a high vibration. Lies and holding things in is a low vibration. So it really frees you up from,
and it should be more feeling. It should be more of your, what you like. It's like, has to do with yourself. You don't have a truth about somebody else, because then that's your opinion or your judgment, right? And so that is, in my opinion, what holds people back from speaking their truth, because you're going to be, you're going to be afraid to speak your truth, because you're afraid how someone else is going to interpret that, or and,
exactly,
and how they're going to react to you. So it's that alignment and that peacefulness that you're trying to create in yourself. That's where you really have to start and start feeling the feelings that you have inside your body.
And don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. I'm going to tell you, I'll make it short, but I'm going to tell you a story that happened around, I'm going to say 19 years ago. My dad, Dominic Greco, has been gone since 18 years ago. And 19 years ago, he was supposed to have a heart surgery down at Miami Heart Institute. And I was down there with my mother and my siblings. And as we were leaving my dad's room that night, and I know that most of you that know me know, I do have a gift, it's a medical intuitive gift. And as we left his room that night, we were walking down the hallway, and I heard, "Your dad can't have that surgery tomorrow. Something freak is going to happen." Okay? And I'm walking down the hallway with my mom and two siblings who never believed in me or what I do. And I'm going, in my head, I'm having this little discussion with my guides going, "You really want me to say this in front of everybody?" And they said, "Well, you can say something and let it out, because we're telling you and it's the truth. Or you can hold it back, and if something freak does happen and your dad doesn't survive the surgery, you can live with that for the rest of your life." And all of a sudden, I just blurted out on the way to the elevator, "Daddy can't have this operation tomorrow." So of course I had to deal with the backlash of, you know, people who do not know as much as I do, and know what I know. And we went back to the hotel next door to the hospital, And about an hour later, we got a phone call from my mother who told us that the operation had been canceled. Apparently, some medical doctor, I don't know who, went through the hospital about 11:30 at night to do his rounds, and he stopped in to see my dad, and my dad complained about a little bit of a pain in his back. And just as a precaution, because he knew my dad was going into surgery the next morning, he decided to order an x-ray, and when they did the x-ray, they found that his lungs were filled with blood clots. So for those of you that don't know what that means, it means that if they had cut his chest open to do the surgery, he would have died on the table because the blood clots would have killed him.
Wow.
So that day, in a way, raised my awareness, not only of speaking my truth, which I've never really had a whole lot of trouble doing, kind of, those of you that know me, I pretty much say what's on my mind. But it really opened me up to the freedom that I felt and the confidence in what I hear, what you hear. That little voice in our mind that we hear, you know, make a left instead of going straight. And, you know, our truth is connected, I guess, in some way to our intuition, because our intuition and our soul and our guides never lie to us. They only want what's the best for us. And if you really trust and practice going forward, just saying whatever it is you feel, and think about what you're going to say. See what it makes you feel like. I'm telling you, that first time you just let it rip, you're good. It's just a feeling of, you feel like skipping through the field and.
And I always have, you know, I think about being, when I was raised, that, you know, you only spoke when spoken to, and, you know, certain ways that you speak to people. And so, and I've always been a pleaser. I think I've always been just a pleaser and a giver in my life. And so I actually find it a little bit hard at times to speak my truth. Other times I have no trouble saying it, but there's times where, you know, I feel conflicted about it. And working on, I guess part of it too is like taking the breath, the cleansing breath.
Yes.
Because you don't want to react, you know, in times where, like, you know, in this particular moment, if you had thought about it and not said it because
right.
you were afraid of how to say it, that's
right.
kind of what happens to me. And so I'm learning to, you know, take that breath. And sometimes it's going to be just as painful to keep it in as it is to let it out. So you might as well
right.
move forward. That's actually how I make a lot of my decisions, you know, really give it that thought and, you know, decide how I'm going to say it. Or the fact that, like, I don't like something, I don't want to do something, and I don't really like to go along with the crowd just because.
That's right.
You know, and it doesn't help anybody to do that.
And something else you'll notice when you start really speaking your truth is you feel lighter. Mm-hmm. And you feel lighter because it really allows your physical vibration to go up, because you're not holding on to toxic thoughts. Mm-hmm. And remember, there's a real fine line, but there is a definite difference between your opinion about something and something being true. You can feel a way about something, but it doesn't necessarily mean that it's truth. And if you feel a way about somebody's actions or something somebody said or even something somebody's doing, if you're simply expressing your truthful feeling about it, then that's all you need to, like, really be focused on. Mm-hmm. That you did what you needed to do. And a lot of times people don't speak their thoughts, and they'll even stay in they'll speak their truth, and they'll stay in a situation that's unhealthy or bringing them down, and we're just not expressing what we really need to. And when you express those things and let them go, there's like a passion and a drive that comes over you. And like I said, after the first time, it really gets easier. And my motto has always been, you know what, they get mad, they get glad. Mm-hmm. And it really is. Like, they'll get over it. They'll get over it. If it's the truth, say it, walk away, and feel good. Let other people deal with the responsibility. I think, don't you think that we just really take responsibility for so many things that are not our own?
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah, I definitely
And you
do.
get called selfish, and I know this kind of touches on other topics that we've talked about, but it's really all connected in really coming forward and being true to yourself. You know,
Yeah.
when we were talking about being able to say no, your truth was that you could do it if you want to, but take the shoulds out of your life. You know, it ties into that too.
Yeah.
Be your
And those
truth.
people who will judge you anyway and who will cause whatever other problems, they're going to do that anyway. They're already controlling your reaction, your emotions. You're already being put in that position. So I kind of think, I guess it's like sometimes a test or a growing time where you're like, okay, I need to learn how to, first of all, know authentically what it is that you want for yourself and what you believe. And those beliefs change all the time, by the way. I found that.
Big is know that there's no wrong or right.
Yeah, there
Write
is.
that down. There's no wrong or right. How you feel is how you feel.
Yeah. But that's not how you were taught, though.
Exactly.
I think that's kind of a big thing. I think that's why we go through all these different problems that we keep coming up with, that we
Right.
have to keep talking about. It's like, these are your conditioning.
Letting go of learned behaviors and
Yeah.
thoughts and feelings and all that stuff.
Yeah, yeah. So I definitely feel like that's part of it, and like whether it was a religious or your parents or whatever it is that brought those beliefs and feelings into you. I know today I definitely can feel in my body, my stomach is usually like my indicator, like if this doesn't feel right, I can feel it.
Exactly.
And that doesn't feel good. So now I need to find another way to express myself, to come up with my solution.
Exactly.
And that's, kind of what we're hoping for everybody. There's so many different things. I homeschooled my son for 3 years, and that was like so crazy at the time that I was pulling him out of his Catholic school, and this was the way. It's just the way I saw a solution, and I found some supportive people, but so many other people are like judging, and how could you do that? And what are your credentials? My son, I love my son, and I want to make sure that he gets the best of what he needed at the time, and we did. He did fabulous, But I decided, after I researched everything, that this was the absolute best thing to do in the time.
Right.
And it was amazing, the experiences that we had, but I know that, and that's the part that we also have to remember, is that faith, that God only wants you to have a good life, or your creator, or your source. That's the point of life, is to live in your best possible truth. And
Right. What is your
possible
soul
way.
searching for?
Yeah.
And if you're holding on to things you feel like you need to say, or you're living a life that's not really resonating with your soul energy, you know it. Like, you know it. And you're only lying, really, to yourself. Mm-hmm. And it really will stagnate you. Not the whole point, but one of the things about life is to be able to evolve and to be able to learn who you really are. It's not about being right or hiding stories or keeping things from people or anything like that. But if you feel a certain way, why don't you feel like you can express that? You're really literally letting other people decide for you what you let go of and what you hold on to. And fear's like one of the biggest, fear of rejection, fear of conflict. I mean, nobody wants conflict.
No.
Nobody wants conflict.
Those scenarios, I don't know that you need to hold those people as close to you as you would otherwise, if they're really going to create that much conflict or judge you that much that you're not going to feel comfortable in your own skin.
Right, that's right.
So,
you always want to do what you got to do and walk away with your head held high. And as long as, you can feel that way, that's, and it makes you more authentic. Like, people know how authentic you are because you really have an energy of what you see is what you get. And you don't have to explain yourself anymore.
Yeah. I've done plenty of that in my life too.
Yeah, I
So.
stopped that a long time ago. Definitely what you see is what you get.
That's true.
And I'm happy that way.
That's true.
Happy that way.
Yeah.
So
for me, it's a learning process, and I see myself doing it sometimes, and I do see myself holding back sometimes also. So I can't say that we've perfected any of this, but the more that we learn to live in our own truth and be authentic, I really feel like the happier, more complete you feel, for sure.
Yeah, and it doesn't have to be said in a nasty way
that's true.
or an accusatory way.
Yeah.
Like, let's just, for an example, it's somebody that you work with, and they're doing something that maybe just really isn't aligned with what the company is or something. I mean, I'm trying to think of something in corporate America, and
Forget it.
corporate America, like, there's so much drama going on there but so another employee that you're working with is not really pulling their weight, let's say. And a lot of it's coming on to you now, the responsibility, because nobody else is really saying anything about it. Nobody wants to be the,
Bad
whistleblower, whatever,
Yeah.
bad guy or anything. So there's a nice way to say, it would be, why don't we look at this a little bit differently and see how we can delegate responsibility so that everybody's kind of doing what they need to do, and we're doing it as a collective. I mean, there's a nice way of saying you're really not pulling your weight. You need to do something else, or
Yeah.
find something that you do want to do out of these choices we have. You can always find a nice way to say pretty much anything.
Yeah, there's times, I know there's times in families, I think you find more of that challenge because there's a conflict of beliefs or there's a judgment that happens, and to be able to speak as you did, and I can think of so many different instances. I know of instances where I held it back, and I know of instances where I finally felt to the point like, you know what, I don't even feel like being here right now if I can't even feel comfortable in the presence of people.
That's right.
So like friends or family or different circumstances you find yourself in. Like if you dread going to somebody's wedding or somebody's party,
Right.
like you really need to analyze why that's happening.
And
right?
remember, and family really is the closest to us.
Mhm.
And it really does probably put the most roadblocks up to speaking your truth
Yeah.
in a lot of situations.
Mhm.
But when you think about it metaphysically and spiritually, these are people that we chose to be in our life. And sometimes we learn that we chose the people closest to us because they were the people that we didn't want to be like. So in order to have that contrast, we brought them real up close and personal, so we really understood this is not what we want, and it gave us the ability to really go out and find really who we are and what we wanted. And we all got what we asked for. We all got what we asked for. And if you understand that speaking your truth, a lot of the other lessons that we've talked about, learning to say no, all these things are all lessons in really finding who we are and being able to express it in a way where we don't feel uncomfortable. Why should anybody be uncomfortable in something that they need to say?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know about you, but you take a look at that bag of garbage you're walking around with and carrying around that load of things that should have been said or things that should have been done.
Yeah.
Go say them, go do them, empty that bag, get into your light body, and really experience life on your terms.
Yeah. How
On
about
your
all
terms, not somebody else's terms.
all the people who just have jobs and you go to work, 9 to 5 or 8 to whatever, and you drag yourself there. I just saw somebody on Facebook count the years, months, days, and hours. And I'm talking 7 years before they were about to retire.
Until they retire.
What? So when I saw that, I've seen it on comedy skits. I'm thinking, is she for real?
I think
But,
that every day I don't feel like that.
Yeah. So if you really feel like that, I'm sure you could find something else to do. The job. First of all, most people would be grateful to have the job and
And
have
we
the
understand
income.
you need your job. You need your
And your
job to
income.
live.
Yeah.
The people that come in and tell me that they're working at their job because of the medical coverage, I want to scream.
Yeah. Because
But
you need the medical coverage because you keep getting sick at the job that you hate. That's silly.
part of the cause there.
right?
But really, to be able to, while you're at that place, be able to really enable yourself to see what your other options
Yeah.
are and kind of do what makes your heart sing. And speaking your truth really gives you passion, and you feel wonderful, and it's a freedom that really, it frees you up to kind of do more things that you want to do.
Yeah.
Like there's nothing weighing you down. There's nothing weighing you down.
Yeah,
Don't go
it's
too far.
never too late to change that. And what's he doing? It's never too late to change your job. And I definitely, I remember I didn't go to college. I got out of school. I worked, and I always felt like after I did that it was kind of too late to go back to school. And I don't think I got my real estate license in probably my 30s. I've been in business for 16 years. And, finally I found something that I really enjoyed to do, and I've been able to reincarnate my real estate business so many times. It's something that I can reinvent myself in. And I'm glad that I can do that. And there's been times for sure that I've felt frustrated or, kind of done with it. And then I found a new angle of the way I practice real estate or who I service or, what have you. So there's always the opportunity for change. And it was in those moments of feeling it or not feeling it, that I could find the change. And I really feel like everybody can do that,
Right.
and be that, see what speaks to you at that point.
Right. I've always loved like Madonna, Cher, these iconic women who, like Kim said, reinvented themselves all throughout their life.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, people had their opinions, but you know why I've always loved and admired them? They always lived their truth,
Yeah.
who they were. They were going to get good and bad, but they lived who they were. So to kind of sum up today, be your authentic you. Be your authentic you. You may learn something about yourself that totally revamps your life and lets you reinvent yourself by just letting things flow. The other thing is, know that you're speaking from your soul, and your soul will never, lie to you. And then, last and not least, acknowledge your feelings. Be honest with yourself. Acknowledge your feelings. What do things make you feel like? You can't worry about what somebody else is going to feel, because they are feeling it, not you. And it's not coming from your experiences, it's coming from their experiences. So that's huge. That's huge. Are there any questions or anything? No? Okay. Well, whoever joined us today, were you done?
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
done.
So whoever joined us today, we're really glad that you did. And if you're watching it after and you still have questions, definitely type them in and we'll answer you. And thank you for everybody that was around today. We hope you enjoyed it as much as we did.
Bye. Have a great day.